Hey, Forrest here. Nothing like getting paid. And with ICCU's mobile app, I can deposit checks or accept Zelle payments so the money hits my account fast. I just wish there was an app for mowing the rest of these lawns.
Right now, Lithia Ford of Boise is buying used vehicles. How much you want for the SUV?
I don't know.
Well, Lithia Ford will give you more than that.
How much more?
More than you think.
I'm not thinking anything.
I'm thinking you might get even more than that. See how much more you can get at Lithia Ford of Boise.
When it comes to concrete, we've got you covered. RowPaint.com offers custom concrete coating services for your garage, business, warehouse, and more. And we do it in one day. We are your complete concrete coatings solution.
This is Bronco Nation News Live. The best interviews, the most informed opinions, the latest breaking news, all from the top Boise State insiders. It's Mondays with Mallory, with KTIK 95.3 FM The Ticket's John Mallory. Listen to Idaho Sports Talk with Prater in the Ballgame, weekdays from 3 to 6 on 95.3 FM The Ticket and online at KTIK.com. Now, here's Johnny Ballgame and BJ Rains with another edition of Bronco Nation News Live.
Hey, how we doing, Boise State fans? A happy Monday to you. Monday morning, Mondays with Mallory. We're excited to kick off a new week with you here at BroncoNationNews.com, Bronco Nation News, YouTube, Twitter, Facebook pages, all that good stuff. And we're also on the KTIK channels today as well, Johnny. YouTube and Twitter. I think I need to work with JP to get the Facebook page linked back up. But Johnny, what's up, man? Happy Monday to you.
Yeah, happy Monday to you too. The bowl season officially upon us. If you're on I-84 today, or you will be, it's a little slower. I just got in, and luckily no accidents on the way. But here we are. 'Tis the season. BJ, a lot to talk about. Thanks for having me on.
Yeah, how about we've already had one coach, the team Boise State's playing in a bowl game, get fired last night. And then I just saw that Satterfield, the Louisville coach, is going to Cincinnati, and they're playing in the bowl game in 2 weeks. The team he just left to go to, playing his old school. Some crazy stuff going on. And we saw Deion Sanders going to Colorado. I reported last night that Kelly Papinga is leaving to go to BYU, which shouldn't be a big surprise. He was the edge coach and the co-special teams coordinator, Johnny, but he played at BYU. He coached at BYU, kind of was here for 1 year because he needed a job when the Virginia staff got let go last year this kind of surprising retirement of Mendenhall. Or when he stepped down. So that story's up for subscribers on the site. So we'll see if there's any official announcement today from BYU. But Broncos already looking for an offensive coordinator. We're not sure when that search will heat up. And now looking for a edge/co-special teams coordinator. Maybe they move around the roles. I don't know if you saw it or not, Johnny, but Jabril Frazier, who is the defensive GA, former player that helps out with the edge position. He was actually seen in a picture that one of the recruits posted last night that he was out with Kane Ione on the recruiting trail. And that basically confirms that if your GA is out recruiting, that basically confirms that Popovich, I keep calling him Popovich. Did they have a coach here named Popovich before? I think they did. They had Jeff Popovich. Now they have Kelly Papinga, but it's Kelly Papinga who was here 1 year, and he is now leaving to go to BYU, according to my sources. We'll see when that's announced. But at least two coaches, I guess, that Boise State's going to have to replace. And there's a lot of other coaching news going on elsewhere, I guess.
No staff stays the same. You know that, right? Very rare in that industry where you keep every single staff member. And this is just like that free-for-all, that whirlwind, all these people with resumes at the airport waiting for coaches to get off, right, at the hotel lobby, as you probably know, coaches hanging around, I need a job here and there. I mean, all these staffs getting fired, and, people like sports radio, we only talk about the head coach. But every time a head coach gets fired, there's 10 or so assistant coaches. All of a sudden, they're scrambling as well, and it's just this trickle-down domino effect. And it does, though, it waters down the bowl season tremendously. I try to still get excited. Maybe it's that old school college football fan in me where bowl games were a big deal and it was fun watching all of them. But now you look at every single bowl game and it feels like there's either, if there's an interest level in a bowl game, a player or two is sitting to not to jeopardize their draft status. A coach or two is off the staff. Several assistants have left. Their buddies get jobs other places. They want to go coach with them. And then, like in the weird case of the Cincinnati situation, Satterfield, I mean, are you kidding me? The two teams in the bowl game, and that's just how it worked out there. But that happens, and the bowl season's kind of a buzzkill, but I'm not going there today. I'm excited about it.
Yeah.
But we'll start seeing, more and more players not going to play in it and whatnot.
Nate did say, I like Papinga, but special teams really let us down in each of the losses this year. We look back at the championship game, Johnny. The news is out by now. Obviously, Boise State going to the Frisco Bowl. It's next Saturday. There were a couple things in play here. I think they wanted to be done before Christmas, if possible.
Yeah.
They like playing in Texas. They have 12 players on the roster from Texas, most of which are from that Dallas area. So now you're talking about Talon Green getting a chance to finish his first season like 30 minutes from his house or whatever. I mean, it's pretty cool that for Green and Genty and McAllister and a lot of these guys from there, how it worked out. Now, I know a lot of fans would have preferred a better opponent than a 7-6 North Texas. Well, you know what? Win your championship game then. I mean, that's kind of what you don't get everything you want when you lose the title game at home. It's the way it worked out. You see that Utah State's playing Memphis. Maybe people are saying that's a better opponent, but that's also on the 27th, where guys would have to spend their Christmas and holidays in a hotel room with the team practicing for the game. So there's a give and take with what you get. But once they lost that, it was all set up.
And BJ, with recruiting and early signing period,
the 21st is signing
love
day.
the fact that they get done on the 17th. They can say see ya to the players, go home, spend a couple of weeks with your friends and family over the holidays. And the coaches, hey, we get to kind of tighten things up in the building and just focus on early signing period. I get the opponent, but this was a great thing for Boise State as far as what they did have. You're right. They weren't in much control after losing that game. So this checks a lot of boxes for Coach Avalos playing in the Frisco Bowl.
And they get a chance to get to 10 wins. I mean, regardless of who you play, you don't look back years from now on how many 10-win seasons they had and go, oh, yeah, but they played North Texas to get that 10th win. I mean, you get a chance to get 10 wins, which after 7-5 last year, it'd be a big, I think, step forward for year two. Is it where people want to be? No. Is 2 Mountain West championships in the last 8 years where this program wants to be? No. But coming off of last year, starting 2-2 this year, if you can get to 10 wins, win the bowl game, send the seniors off and kind of regroup and try to make some improvements with this new look offense and some coaching changes for next year, given the situation, I think it's about as good as you could have done. I mean, if you would have missed Christmas and then lost to Oklahoma State in the bowl game and gone 9-5 or whatever, it would have been a much different season than potentially going 10-4. So it is what it is. As Perry says, kind of got what we earned. And they do play Memphis next season, by the way, already. So that would have probably eliminated part of that. But I think it just makes sense. You go to Texas, you play it, you're done. And you go from there. Wyoming's going to the Barstool Bowl. I never thought that was probably going to be an option. It is interesting, though, that North Texas fires their coach, Seth Luttrell. He had been there 8 years, I believe, did some good things, but they went 0-5 in bowl games while he was there. They do name an interim coach for the bowl game, and then they'll be looking for a new coach there in North Texas. But so that adds a little wrinkle to it. But that'll be next Saturday. They'll focus on school this week. Coaches are out recruiting all week, like I said. I think they'll get a couple of days off, and then they'll practice like Thursday, Friday, Saturday or something, and then they'll basically go right into game week. This is just basically like a bye week, and then you play next week, which is nice also.
Again, which is what they wanted. Yeah, play on that opening bowl weekend.
Yep, and you mentioned signing day is the 21st, the following Wednesday, I believe it is. So, yeah, they'll get that out of the way. The players will get to go home. The only downside is that first bowl game day. That does coincide with finals week, so they'll have to figure that out, take some tests on the road maybe. That'll be a little bit of a hiccup, but they've always played in the Vegas Bowl that same day. They're used to dealing with this. So, it's not the LA Bowl versus Washington State. It's not an NFL Rams stadium. It's a little 20,000. It's about 20,000. It's Toyota Stadium. It's where FC Dallas and the MLS plays. They play the FCS championship game there. So it's a nice stadium, just a little bit smaller stadium, but it's fairly new, I believe. And it'll be a good opportunity. Like I said, you get down to Texas, get to play down there. So I think that will be good for Boise State. I do want to talk about the championship game, Johnny, and kind of what went wrong there. I want to talk some basketball as well. The hoops team is rolling right now. Sounds like there is going to be a little bit of media availability today after practice as they get set for the game tomorrow against EOU. I'm excited. The first time in 10 years, I'll have a work trip to St. Louis, see my family, and get to see Boise State, St. Louis on Saturday. That'll be a fun one. The Billikens are rolling right now. But I do want to update folks on the contest, Johnny. We announced this about a week ago when you were on the air, that we were giving away this trip for two. If you renewed your subscription to Bronco Nation News, $70, you just had to renew it for another year, or if you sign up for a new subscription during the month of December. This ends on December 31st. So if you're just listening for the first time, don't know anything about this, we'd love to have you jump in. All you do is pay for a 1-year subscription for $70 online, bronconationnews.com. If you did that, Johnny, you would have got the email about 15 minutes before anybody else found out about Kelly Papinga leaving. We give you the breaking news first via email. We have a lot of other exclusive stories. We do the BNN After Dark show, so there's a lot of exclusive content, and it's $70 for a full year. It's a one-time fee, and if you make it before December 31st, you're in for the grand prize, a trip for two on a private jet with Matt Bauscher and company, and you get to go down to the basketball game in Las Vegas. You get a night stay in Vegas at a hotel. It's going to be an awesome trip. There's some other weekly prizes, though, Johnny. This week we're giving away this pretty cool zero-gravity chair. That would look pretty nice in your man cave out there in the garage, Johnny, for folks who want to hang out and watch football. That's the prize this Friday. We were going to give it away at the James, but we ended up doing the pregame show in the stadium, so I saved it for Friday. Brand new, awesome, zero-gravity Bud Light Seltzer chair. Anyone that's already renewed their subscription or anyone that has signed up for a 1-year subscription will be entered once again to win this zero-gravity chair on Friday with Jay Tust. We'll draw the name. But if you aren't in yet, you got till Friday. You got till Friday to either renew your subscription. You can email me if your subscription doesn't renew till later in the year, and we'll get you in early. But if you're on the fence, hopefully you'll want to subscribe. Jump on in now, and as long as you're in by Friday with a $70 subscription, you're entered to win this Bud Light chair. Johnny, we've had let me check the number here real quick. We've had 251 renewals, so 251 people have already renewed their subscription for another year, and we've had 18 new subscriptions since we announced it with you. So we have 18 new subscribers, which is awesome, and we'll keep the tally going. My goal was 50 new subscribers by the end of the contest, so we'll see if we can get there. But again, if you want in, great. You know, we on the BNN After Dark show, we gave away Mountain West Championship game tickets to subscribers. So we were doing a lot of cool stuff here, and appreciate Johnny and KTIK and Prater and Tust and Winston and everybody. So it's been fun. We'll keep it rolling, but hopefully you will jump in and subscribe if you haven't. It was good, wasn't it, seeing Winston down there for the pregame show on Saturday?
Yeah, he's a good dude and does a great job on Bronco Nation News, and he just just provides such insight and experience and enthusiasm, and he's funny. He's just a good fit for the local media. I know he doesn't want to be referred to as a media member. It's like
he was all proud to have his press pass, I'm sure.
All the ex-players and all the ex-coaches who do stuff with local media, they all want to always say, hey, I'm not really a media member. It's so funny how they all say that, but nah, you are, man. If you're getting paid for this stuff, you're in the media. Welcome, Winston. But yeah, that was cool. Just didn't turn out the way, obviously, Boise State or this fan base wanted to, BJ. It was one of those I thought it was a very even matchup. And it was just one or two big things were going to sway the weight. We're going to sway the scale. And I thought that happened in the form of a penalty that gave Fresno just a little more to work with there. And Boise State had too much to make up for at that point, I think. But obviously a lot to talk about that.
Yeah, and we got some comments as well, and I want to bring up something Winston said on the pregame show. But first, we want to tell you about a couple of our great sponsors. We're in the Cutwater Canned Cocktails. Johnny's down there in the RowPaint.com studios downtown. I'm here in the Cutwater Canned Cocktail studios. More than 30 flavors of pre-mixed, pre-made premium cocktails. Check them out at your local gas station or grocery store. If you're looking for a dentist, BoiseDentistryCo.com. Check them out. Locations across the Treasure Valley, Mountain Home, Caldwell, everywhere in between. Full family dentistry. If you're looking for a dentist, use the Rains Family Dentist. You will not be disappointed. Dr. Meinert and his staff at BoiseDentistryCo.com. If you're looking for business insurance, check out United Commercial Insurance. UnitedCommercialInsurance.com. They can write business policies and insurance in 44 states around the country. So pretty much anywhere. They're trying to help more folks here in the Treasure Valley, beefing up their staff there. So if you're in the Treasure Valley and looking for to lower your rate on your business insurance, a quick call could save you hundreds of dollars. Tell them you heard about it, Bronco Nation News, and they'll hook you up, 229-8222. And, of course, Ridley's Family Markets. Shop Ridley's.com. 13 locations across the state of Idaho. Love that Kuno location. They got the at-home shopping. They got the Skip app you can use on your phone and kind of avoid the line when you're going through the store shopping. All the highest technology. You can find a location near you at shopridleys.com. Okay, we got some comments coming in here, Johnny, but one of the things that Winston Venable said, I don't remember if this was the part where you were on or not, but we talked about keys to this game, and the two things that we talked about were winning the turnover battle and special teams. And both of those things in a championship game, in a big game, it's winning the turnover battle and it's special teams. And both of those, Boise State badly lost in that game. You had the punt return touchdown. You had the penalty, which we can even hear from Jalen Clark if we want to about that play, because I talked to him after the game, thanks to the Mountain West rule, allowing every player to talk that played in the game. And he was great talking about it. And then on turnover, you lost the turnover battle 2-0, 2 interceptions from Taylon Green. So special teams, turnovers really cost Boise State a championship.
Yep, like I said, one of those things. It was an even matchup, and a couple of miscues here and there from one team is going to tip the scale in favor of the other. I think Boise State finds a way to win that game, if not for the special teams miscues. And I throw in the Jalen Clark roughing the kicker penalty as a special teams miscue, even though that was a scrimmage down. That's a special teams play, if you ask me. The return game was on point for Fresno. You got to give Fresno credit. Again, in a tight matchup, they were the team that was able to not only make more plays, but capitalize off miscues. Taylon Green didn't play well, and that's fine. That's okay. There's going to be those games for whatever reason. Fresno did a really good job, I think, of caging him up. He wasn't on point. You saw several throws go over the receiver's head. It was a little high there. Not sure what the deal was, if it was weather or whatever, man. He just wasn't on that game. He was checking down a lot more than he does. Typically, he'll drive the ball down the field. I mean, the stats will support that with Taylon. On the season, his yards per attempt is almost 8 yards. On Saturday, his yards per attempt was 4.6. That's cut in half, and Hainer was 6.8. So that had a lot to do with it. We don't know what happened, or maybe you do, BJ, with the injuries. George Holani did not have a carry in the fourth quarter. Neither did Ashton Genty. Collectively, they had 5 carries in the second half. I wanted to see more of that, but if they weren't out there, were they injured, whatnot? And Eric McAllister didn't make a catch. He had a couple of targets, wasn't able to bring the ball down. It just wasn't one of those recipes that Boise State wants to put out there and hope they can have a winning performance. There were just too many mistakes or failed opportunities there. And now you're in Frisco, and it is what it is in Fresno State. I mean, is there an argument to be made that they've been the flagship program of this conference the last 5-6 years? Maybe there is now, but the Bulldogs won that game. And as you can see on that's what is bugging a lot of people. That should have been a running into the kicker rather than a roughing the kicker. And I would support that claim, but I'm not an official, man. But yeah, that's brutal.
And certainly we're not going to say this is what cost them the game, but this is a 14-9 game at this point.
Yep.
Boise State's set to get the ball back. I know it's been a rough go, but you're down 5. You're about to get the ball, and all it takes is one good drive, and you have the lead. Coaches were wanting to be aggressive in this situation. Obviously, he misses the block, and then as he's coming down, the back of the kicking leg makes contact with him. Kent Riddle didn't have a huge problem with the call, Johnny, but he did say on the post-game show he would have been fine. If I'm the other team and they call that running, I'm probably fine with that. I mean, it's 4th and 15. It's
right.
kind of a bailout. I mentioned the Mountain West rule. We don't get to do this very often, so let's hear briefly about 45 seconds from Jalen Clark, who was the player there that committed the penalty, and appreciate him for being a stand-up guy and talking after the game. But me and Jordan Kay had a chance to catch up with him after the game, and here's him on that play.
On the call, but what did you see from your perspective as you were trying to get the block?
I'll just say, our coach would teach me to go faster, your leverage, and I believe, I was just trying to get there, make a play for my team. Yeah. And you live with the ref's call, you can't change nothing about it. So.
Do you think it should have been running? That's a 15-yard penalty. They scored. That changed the game.
Mm-hmm. Definitely. It definitely affected the game in ways, but there's ways I could have fixed my technique to maybe not have that happen. But again, respond with our defense, keep it going.
So were you going for? Obviously you're going for the block. But what was were you guys trying to be aggressive there? Or?
Yeah, absolutely. Yep.
They're trying to be aggressive, Johnny, and they want the block. Avalos said as much. Obviously. They were being aggressive. The offense hadn't done much. They saw something, I think, earlier this season, maybe even the week before against Wyoming, where they either had a punt blocked or almost had one blocked. They thought they could get there, And I just personally, in that situation, you're down 5. It's 4th and 15. You're about to get the ball back. That's a spot where I play it safe.
Especially it was still the third quarter. I mean, if there would have been maybe 5 minutes left in the game, you're saying, okay, maybe we need to press the issue a little more. Let's go after the block on this. But no, for if it was me, and they're lucky it's not. But I'm calling some type of a punt return scheme that's more set up on the return rather than maybe trying to block. But you live and learn. And yeah, when it's 4th and 15 defensively, I just don't want to do anything stupid. No 5-yard penalty that turns into like an automatic first, or in that case, a personal foul. I mean, think about this. Not only did Fresno retain possession, BJ, they got a 15-yard advancement on that. I mean, that hurt twice as much. If I'm Boise State there, just take the ball and see if you can score. You got Dirk Cutter scheming. I felt Talon at one point was going to have something pop. He's just that athletic. You can only contain him or cage him that long. He's going to get out at some time and make a play. And, that was a backbreaker. And Fresno, as you know, the quarter ended, and then they still retained the ball. They ended up scoring a touchdown on that possession to go up 21-9 in the 4th. And then your Boise saying, what are we going to do now? It just, to me, that was the play. It might have been a different game had that play not happened. Now, Boise State still would have had to do something on offense, and they hadn't yet really up to that point. I think Boise State got to the red zone twice in that entire game. So it probably would have been Fresno winning the game anyway, but you would have liked to see.
Yep, and that was an 87-yard drive they finished off after that kept it going with the penalty. 87-yard drive, took like 6 minutes off the clock. They score, and then that was all she wrote. I think the punt return was big too, because Boise State had only given up like 90 yards of offense to Fresno, and all of a sudden you look up and you're losing 7-3, and that was a huge momentum switch for them. I mean, Johnny, Spencer Danielson, this defense, all these guys that were banged up and got out there for, you gave up 245 yards to Jake Haener and Fresno State. 245 yards. If I'd have told you that, last week, you'd have said, "Oh, Boise State wins going away." I mean, 245 yards should have been more than enough total yards for the defense, limiting them for this offense to do something, and they just couldn't. They had to settle for field goals. Somebody was asking here. And it's a very valid question. We talked about it in the press box all game. Why did we get away from the run game when we were averaging 5 yards a carry? Andy Avalos said after the game, and he was asked about it, and his response was, we saw the numbers in the box we liked. They basically Fresno State was, after giving up 316 yards last year, Fresno State was putting more guys in the box. They were trying to stop the run, and they thought now you could say that wasn't working, so they should have still kept running. But they were putting more guys in the box. There were some opportunities on the outside that Boise State liked, and Andy Avalos said they just didn't execute them. They just didn't complete the passes. Talon Green's throws were just behind guys and off. I mean, but they liked what they got. They just couldn't execute. I would have countered with that or argued with that, as most people would. I think he rushed for 5.8 yards a carry or something in the first half every time. But the problem was on first down. When they would pass on first down, it'd be incomplete and it'd be 2nd and 10. And then all of a sudden you're having to pass, or they'd run on 2nd down and then it'd be 3rd and 6, 3rd and 6, 3rd and 7. Then they'd have to pass. It was a very odd game plan because they had run the ball so well last time they had played them. And I think all fans, or even my dad, who doesn't even text me that much, in all caps texted me, "Run the ball." And I think that a lot of people thought that way. And for whatever reason, they liked the matchup in the passing game, and it just didn't work.
Calling your dad out. Nice.
That was Talon. Was that Talon Green? I mean, I think he finished
30 yards.
He was no, in terms of his passing. I don't have the numbers right in front of me.
17 for 38.
Yeah, under 50% completion. He got, the numbers looked a little better too. I think it was 175 yards, but it was the 52-yarder to Davis Cutter that made it look a little better. But I mean, it just something was off with Talon, man. It just was not a Talon Green passing game that we had seen the last 2 months.
Yep, and that's okay. Those are going to happen. He's a freshman. Right? It's part of the growing pains. It's fine, dude. You get a new puppy, they're not going to be potty trained immediately. Like puppies wet the carpet, right? I mean, young freshmen, student athletes, it's not a complete project yet. as a freshman. Taylon Green's going to be a terrific player. He already is a terrific player. And credit Fresno. They did a good job on him. Well done. I haven't seen a team do as good a job defending Taylon as Fresno did. I felt that, again, he was going to pop a run. He didn't. One thing that I did notice is it seems like every time he runs, it's like a design scheme run play. And that's cool too. But there's also an element to running quarterbacks, or I'm sorry, an element to running quarterbacks when you're back in the pocket and you see a crease open and you just go. The defense is guarding the pass. You know, they're hoping you don't run like an old Russell Wilson back breaking 3rd and 7. He takes off on foot, picks up 25 yards up the middle of the field, sliding. Like Taylon's going to have that element. Probably will be even more dangerous than that, but I didn't feel like Taylon, and this is actually a good thing for quarterbacks. You don't want them at the first sign of pasture to take off and run. You want them to go through their progression. But Taylon, it felt to me, BJ, didn't have any of those impromptu runs. And sometimes those are the hardest to defend. And I love watching the kid play, and I can't wait to see him keep playing. But there's going to be certain elements that are going to grow within his game, and it's just going to make him all that much more exciting.
We only got 4 minutes left, and I do want to switch to basketball real quick, Johnny. But Vlad does say, love our defense. How many of the defensive players are returning? Well, I think if you go by not returning, I mean, you're going to lose Jale Skinner. You lose Tyreek Jones. You lose Caleb Biggers. You lose Zeke Noah. You lose Scott Matlock. I mean, George Tarlas. I mean, this defense is going to look a lot different. And who knows about
Schramm has a COVID year.
Don't
right?
know if he's going to use it, but he does.
Yeah, don't know if he's going to use it.
You'll have LaBeouf and Kaniho back. You have Robinson. You have Oladipo back. You have Herbert Gums back. Washington back. But you lose a lot. I mean, you lose over half your starters on defense. So that's something certainly to watch. And Double O'Neal, as we switch to basketball, did say, boys, he'll have to start over with a new offensive coordinator. We'll have a losing season next year. He's predicting an 0-4 start to the year next year.
Well, it's a brutal non-conference schedule. It really is.
They start at Washington. They start at Washington in the first game.
Is there a North Dakota in there?
There is, but they play home to UCF in week 2. And then they're at Memphis as well, so it is a tough non-con next year. But looking forward to seeing what the new offensive coordinator comes in and is able to do here moving forward. Hey, check out the blueandorange.store.com. The Blue and Orange Store, free shipping, any order over $40. Make sure you check them out, the blueandorangestore.com. Ropaint.com, our title sponsor. Check them out, the official paint and coatings company of Boise State Athletics. Lithia Ford of Boise. Check them out if you're looking for a new vehicle. The Raines family couldn't be happier with our vehicle. We're also happy with Idaho Central Credit Union, ICCU.com, the official bank of Bronco Nation News. Make the switch today, ICCU.com. And if you're looking for a new job, jump into the trucking industry, transcomservice.com. They can help you get out there driving that new truck that you're towing that load in no time. So check them out at TCS, transcomservice.com. Okay, we got 2.5 minutes left, Johnny. Big win for the basketball team over Texas A&M. 25 career points for Max Rice. The Broncos are rolling right now, man. They got EOU tomorrow, which should be an easy win. And then kind of the final really, really tough non-con game of this schedule at St. Louis, who's a top 50 Ken Pom team, borderline top 25 team right now on Saturday. But hey, man, to already have Washington State, Colorado, Texas A&M in the bag, that was a big win on Saturday. I thought that was the best win they've had this season.
Yeah, and St. Louis might be a better opponent than Texas A&M.
No, they're definitely better.
But they're not. Boise State plays their tough games aren't big names. They're good teams, but they're not big names. Texas A&M was a big name. Maybe not a great team, but a big name. And this fan base, too, would almost rather beat, in my taking, the big name than the good team. They need BJ Rames to tell them, hey, this is a good team. They're Ken Pom in this, and they have this and this and this. Sometimes fans dude, I want to play a team that I've heard of. I know. And Texas A&M was that. And BJ, Boise State, I mean, they had their foot on A&M's throat, and they didn't let that sucker off. They were flat out the better team. You see Buzz Williams' facial expressions on that game. I went home and watched it. The coach of A&M, he's frustrated. He's got a Big 12, an SEC caliber team. They're an SEC team that they have high expectations like most teams. They put a lot of money into their basketball budget, and Leon Rice just had a better team, schemed better, made bigger shots, played better defense. I mean, you watch that game and you take the A&M and the Boise State off the jersey, you'd have thought that Boise State was an SEC basketball program and not Texas A&M. That was a really impressive win, and I get it. A&M might not be good this year, but that's an SEC team with an SEC budget and TV contract. To me, those big-name opponents, I think that's going to be a big deal. Hopefully for Boise State fan, A&M can have a pretty good year, BJ. I know we're pressed on time. A&M can have a pretty good year, and then that ranking, that win will continue to look better, but really impressed with the win.
Yeah, 57 is what the net came out today for the first time, Johnny. The net, the official ranking that they use, Boise State checks in at number 57, which is a pretty solid spot to start the season. In the Ken Palm, by the way, Boise State is also 57. St. Louis is number 41.
Okay,
so,
where's SLU in the net?
Right above them, 56.
Okay, yep.
So they're one spot above them in the net, so that's a quality game. Could be a top 50 is quad one, so that has a chance to be a quad one game. But 5 in a row, Broncos are rolling. We'll get you ready for tomorrow's game with the pregame show. Johnny might make an appearance there courtside about 6:30 or so. EOU, I think, is the opponent at 7 o'clock tomorrow. So, Johnny, we'll be listening 3 to 6 today to you and Prater. You'll have all the coverage of the bowl game, breaking down the matchup and the loss in the title game. We appreciate you as always, man. Have a great day.
Thanks, BJ.
There he is, John Mallory. Listen to him and Prater today. Go sign up for the contest, BroncoNationNews.com. Have a great day. We'll talk to you later. Bronco Nation News, BroncoNationNews.com.